Golden crispy, like me. You'll love us.
We're quick and crispy. Get it? Quick
and crispy.
For restaurant fries you bake at home.
That's us.
Taste new quick and crispy brand French fries.
This is WHO TV 13 Des Moines.
Good morning, and welcome to the harbor of Fremantle in Western Australia, site of this year's America's Cup races. Here, the Stars and Stripes team has asked for and been granted a lay day, a day off. It's a rest the Americans richly deserve. For the past 3 days, they have mastered their opponents and the elements to take a commanding 3-0 lead in the best-of-7 final. While the Australians of Kookaburra 3 continue to search for the keys to victory, the men of Stars and Stripes are just one win away from bringing the America's Cup back home today, Tuesday, February the 3rd, 1987.
From NBC News, this is Today from Fremantle, Australia, with Bryant, Gumbel, and Jane Pauley.
And good morning. Welcome to Today on a Tuesday morning, day 2 of our Australian journey. And we have moved our location a little bit from Perth, about 12 miles upstream, onto Fremantle. Unless you fear we have traveled all night and should be bleary-eyed, let's tell you that if you're looking for some kind of relativity to how far we've traveled, it's about the distance if you're an East Coaster from New York to Newark, or maybe if you're on the West Coast, maybe moving from Santa Monica to Long Beach. Not very bad. But again, we have found a truly great location. As we were on Friday, we are in the fishing boat harbor of Fremantle, chief port on the coast of Western Australia, and site of this year's America's Cup races. As noted, this was a day off for both crews, but both have been out practicing, and not long ago, Stars and Stripes returned from practice. We should note that the Australians have proven truly gracious hosts for this event, packing the shoreline daily and cheering both finalists as they move in and out of port on race day. In just a few moments, we're going to be talking about the competition here that has seen Stars and Stripes move into a commanding 3-0 lead. We'll be joined by a couple of the competitors. Tactician of Stars and Stripes, Tom Whidden, will be joining us shortly, as will the helmsman of Kookaburra 3, Iain Murray. Jane?
Fremantle was a boom town 100 years ago when gold was discovered north of here, and like Fremantle, gold is enjoying a comeback. We'll take you up to a famous Australian gold town named Kalgoorlie. And like ours, Australia is an immigrant nation, but until 1972, it was whites only. Well, some people want to go back. We'll get into that hot topic here in just a few minutes. A little bit later, we'll show you how the doctor makes house calls in the outback by airplane.
We will also be taking a closer look at two pastimes near and dear to the hearts of most Australians, drinking beer and gambling. Let's get the morning started at the news desk back in New York, and we greet John Palmer. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Brian. Thanks, Jane. In the news this morning, members of Congress, angered by President Reagan's veto of a $20 billion clean water bill, are gearing up today for the first override of the 100th Congress. Bob Kerr in Washington has more on that. Morning, Bob.
John, good morning to you. It'll take a 2/3 majority, but the House today and the Senate later this week are expected easily to override the president's veto. Many in Congress predict that this showdown foreshadows a pattern of confrontation between the White House and the Hill. The bill itself, $20 billion over 8 years to state and local governments for construction of sewage treatment plants and other water pollution control programs. Why is it so popular at the Capitol? Well, it lets congressmen say they're voting to protect the environment while at the same time bringing federal money and jobs home. Members consider it a public health bill, and they believe President Reagan makes a big political mistake by opposing it. But Mr. Reagan, who wants to pressure Congress to trim spending, calls it wasteful. For example, the White House says in some cases the bill requires localities to contribute much less on projects than they normally do. At any rate, the stakes are high, beyond just this bill. The outcome could tell us something about who will control the national agenda for the rest of President Reagan's term. John, back to you.
Thanks, Bob. In other news in the Middle East, with U.S. Navy and Marine forces within striking distance of Lebanon, the kidnappers holding American hostages say they will kill their captives if the United States carries out any kind of military strike. Meanwhile, the search for missing hostage negotiator Terry Waite continues. He dropped out of sight 2 weeks ago, saying he had a rendezvous with the kidnappers. The Iran-Iraq war seems to get more brutal with each passing day. This morning, Iran slammed a missile into the Iraqi capital of Baghdad, killing an unknown number of civilians. At the same time, Iranian radio said an Iraqi pilot who bailed out over Iran was lynched by a mob angry over the bombing of a school which killed dozens of children. In this country, entertainer Liberace is reported near death this morning at his home in Palm Springs, California. Friends and relatives have gathered there. A spokesman said, "I don't think there is much time left." The 67-year-old entertainer is said to be suffering from anemia, emphysema, and heart disease. His publicist has denied a report that Liberace is suffering from AIDS. A judge in Detroit has come up with a unique sentence for teenage offenders. As James McCowell reports, he sends them back to school.
What makes my program works is because you either go to school or you go to jail.
18-year-old Warren Burnside had that choice. A traffic violation brought him before Judge Leon Jenkins, who discovered Warren was on the verge of dropping out of high school.
He made a point, and I changed my mind about everything, and I'm glad that he taught to me.
Burnside is one of 600 offenders who Jenkins sentences back to school every year. Jenkins says 80% have completed school or passed an equivalency test.
All my people graduate, unless they have some kind of mental infirmity.
At 33, a single parent and father of two, youngsters easily identify with his youth and charisma. Having grown up poor, getting his message across to these youngsters at a middle school in Detroit comes easily.
I had the same kind of problem you had coming up. But the one thing that I look forward to is that, hey, I knew life wouldn't always be like that for me. I knew at an early age I was going to college. I wanted to be somebody.
Jenkins has also created a group called the Committee of 100. People from various careers serving as role models for troubled youngsters.
The young people are begging for help. We're just not listening.
Jenkins is hoping his efforts will help break Detroit's cycle of crime. James McCowell, NBC News, Detroit.
This is going to be a day of soul-searching on Capitol Hill. Members of the House have until midnight to decide what to do about a 15.5% pay hike for themselves. The increase, part of a raise recommended for members of Congress and thousands of other high-level government servants, goes into effect automatically if they don't kill it. Robert Gates, the man chosen by President Reagan to succeed William Casey as director of the CIA, is expected to win Senate confirmation, but members of Congress say they want to talk to him about what knowledge he might have of the Iran-Contra affair. That's it from this desk at 7:07. Now back to Fremantle and Bryant Gumbel.
John Palmer, thank you very much. Time now for a check of the weather. Mr. Scott steps in with an appropriate hat. What do you think of the setting we got for you today?
I think this is fantastic.
We spared no expense.
I went up to Mundiring today. Mundiring, a little town up in the mountains.
What were you doing?
A little lake, had a picnic set up there at the hotel and watched the world go by. This is kind of a sad day in Australia today. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Because the kids go back to school tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. This has been their summer vacation. I mean, it's really tough to leave a setting like this, too. I mean, take a look at this.
And they're all out in the pools today having a big time. And I must say, I made my first mistake yesterday on the air. I announced the fact that Punxsutawney Phil would not see his shadow, but alas and alack, Punxsutawney Phil, you know by now, saw his shadow. So we have more winter at home, they say. It's only happened about 4 times in the last 100 years where he didn't. I should have known better. You have got a fantastic weather pattern back at home. We're basking in 95 degrees here. I think it's about 35, 37 Celsius, as they say down here. Day-o Celsius, day-o, daylight come and we want to go home. Weather forecast is more of the same. Another dull, fantastic, dry, beautiful, sunny, bright, warm day in good old Western Australia. And as I say, back home, it's incredible. Boston's going to probably hit 50 before the day is over. We have some record warm weather. Chicago was 50 yesterday. Minneapolis, 47. Milwaukee was 46. Waco, Texas, home of Dr. Pepper. Sugar Booger, it was 78 degrees. They had 10 inches of snow in the northern Sierras. And Dallas is our pick city of the day with 75 degrees. Showers in southern Florida scattered throughout to southern Texas today. Travelers advisory still in the northern Sierra and the Lake Tahoe area for more snow. Also, the northern and central Rockies could pick up 3 to 6 inches. Light rain from Seattle down to San Francisco and some more mixed snow and rain in the northern and central Rockies. Los Angeles will have some showers today, but warm weather continues in the southern plains, the lower Mississippi, the Tennessee Valley, and the mid-Atlantic states. Temperatures in the 80s in Texas. Can you believe that today? Gales along Lake Superior and Lake Huron, and a light area weak storm system moving across the Great Lakes. UP of Michigan, some travelers advisories. Western New York and New England expecting a few scattered showers today. But it is beautiful in Western Australia. Come on down, mate. I'll put another shrimp on the Barbie. I'll throw Bryant and Jane on there. Let's check the act and see what's happening in your world today.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you didn't get too used to the nice weather we had yesterday. Considerable cloudiness in the forecast today. Southeast winds 5 to 10 and a high around 30.
And that's about it for right now. I got to go out and check and see if I can find my old friend Orange Muskie and John Deere, two of my favorite people. Right now, here's Bryant Gumbel, my other favorite people.
Okay, Willie, thank you. On close-up this morning, the America's Cup final. As we've noted, the Americans have moved out to a 3-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. And on this lay day, this day off, we are joined by two of the primary competitors. Joining us, Tom Whidden, who is Tactician on Stars and Stripes, and, of course, Iain Murray, who's the main man on Kookaburra 3. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Why'd you call a lay day, Tom? I mean, generally, when a fighter's got somebody groggy on the ropes, don't they try to finish him?
Well, Brian, we still have a lot of respect for the Kooks, Iain and Peter, and we realize that if we don't get our condition, that we could have a lot of trouble. And as you saw out there today, it was pretty light air. And in fact, the doctor's sea breeze only filled in the last hour. So we've been glad all day we're not out there slugging it out.
If they hadn't called one, would you have?
Well, the conditions were right for us, and we were set to sail. But, you know, it would have been, we anticipated they were going to call one because of the conditions, but it would have been hard for us to go out 3 days on the lose, and it's nice to have a break at their expense.
What have been the decisive factors so far, gentlemen? I mean, 3-0 sounds terribly dominant. Is it as lopsided as it sounds?
Well, Brian, my opinion is that you probably haven't seen how good the Kooks are so far. I think that they have a tremendous amount of ability, and we've had a few good breaks in the first 3 races, particularly in the first 2 races. First race, as you remember, we went off the left side and got almost a 40-degree shift in our favor. The second race, we went off the left side and got a 10-degree shift in our favor. So you could say that maybe we knew what we were doing, but between you and I, you'd have to have some good breaks, and it does seem like the early part of the regatta went to us as far as the breaks are concerned. So we're smart enough to know that, you know, the things can go the other way, and we know that the last race, usually the first race and the last race are the hard ones to win, and we know it's going to be hard.
You buy most of that, Iain?
Well, it's very patronizing to us, but we've done a few things wrong, and we seem to be lacking a little bit in boat speed, but you know, we're still confident that we've got 4 races left to go in this contest, and we've got to win all 4 of them. And I think if we can get in front and dominate and not have any fault in our tactics, you know, we can make it tough for these guys to get past.
Iain, there is no doubt that this is a team competition, and in great part it's a technical competition. I don't think anybody questions that Stars and Stripes crew and boat has outperformed your crew and boat. Has Dennis Conner bested you?
Well, I think there's been some judgments made on our boat that I'm responsible for that have been better than ours. I don't think there's any question of that, and as a result, Stars and Stripes has either got into the lead or gone further away in the lead, and you know, ultimately I'm responsible for that.
Talk to me about morale. I mean, you're up 3-0. You don't have a lot of morale except for make sure everybody's hat size remains the same. What do you do in your camp?
Well, our guys are down there, and they're still really chafing at the bit. They want to get out and kill now. They sort of, you know, their theory is, well, we've got nothing to lose and all to gain, and we've put 3 years into this thing, and you know, we just got to fight until we can't fight anymore.
Are there some things you haven't tried yet?
Well, we've tried a few new things today, and we think we might be a little better off tomorrow. So, well, we'll just have to wait and see.
And Tom, what do you do to keep everybody on even keel where you are?
Well, Brian, everybody's up, but a lot of our crew did the America's Cup last time, and we were up 3-1, which isn't a heck of a lot better than 3-zip, and we ended up losing. So we're smart enough to know we better not let down. I think everybody's intensity is still there, and they all appreciate that the last race has got to be won before we should be happy.
We talked about the pressure on Friday about representing your national interests in this thing, and so much of it being wrapped up in you. Are you feeling it, Iain?
Well, certainly feeling the national pride. You know, you just see all these people out here on the dock when we go out and we come in, and out the front of our dock facility when we're trying to go home, and you know, it's really tremendous that there's so many people down here behind us, and the fact that we've lost 3 races and they're still there. They still believe that we can do it, and it's, you know, it makes you really, it gets you really here. And
oh, it does that. It's been a great sight. One final note, if you do get the fourth win, is it going to be in San Diego or Hawaii next?
We're not sure, Bryant, but we will certainly have a defense committee with a bunch of good people on it, decide what's best for the sport and what's best for the Sail America program.
That's a political question. You walked it nice.
Not really, Brian.
Tom Whidden and Ian Murray. Guys, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Good luck. It's 14 past the hour. We're going to come back in just a moment, but first we'll take a break. This is a very special edition of Today from Fremantle on NBC.
Eyeglasses in about 1 hour? That's right. At Vision Express, we have the finest quality eyeglasses ready for you in about an hour, including bifocals and trifocals. How do we do it? At Vision Express, we have a modern glassed-in laboratory where you can actually see your eyeglasses being custom-made right in the store. Plus thousands of frames for you to choose from, including the latest designer eyewear. Call this number now for an eye examination or bring in your prescription. Vision Express in Des Moines South Ridge Mall, next to Sears.
Round and round it goes.
If you drove a Volvo 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year for 3 years, you'd still be covered by Volvo's 3-year unlimited mileage warranty. Of course, Volvo doesn't stop there.
Where it stops, nobody knows.
Volvo, a car company you can believe in.
Select your new Volvo now at Dave Ostrom Imports, Des Moines Automotive Showcase.
Trying to improve your bottom line?
Always.
Got Pioneer Days plugged in?
Sure have. Now, let's see. That's the usual 6% savings on all Pioneer products and a free gift, too?
Right. But this year, there are even more ways to save.
For instance?
Well, there's a new quantity savings plan that could save you from 2 to 10% more on your seed order. How's that sound?
Sounds like a good deal.
At Perkins, 2 fresh eggs, 2 strips of bacon or sausage, and 3 pancakes add up to the magnificent 7 breakfast. Specially priced only at Perkins Family Restaurants.
Chuck Woolery talks about Love Connection.
I think the couples tell it like it is. Spontaneity is what makes the show successful.
Love Connection, a new chance for romance every day.
Weekdays at 4 here on TV 13.
United States, Australia is a country of immigrants, but unlike the United States, the government here has actively encouraged migration. Let's show you some of the new Australians. They come from Great Britain, from Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Germany, South Africa, Ireland, Cambodia. Some come as refugees and bring very little. Others bring their skills or their riches with them. They come to start businesses or to join family members who've come before them. And many of them start their lives at a migrant center where they're given housing for up to a year and food, and they're taught English as a step toward assimilation. But as their numbers increase and the economy gets weaker, not all of them are equally welcome. Bruce Ruxton is an outspoken critic of his country's current immigration policies. He's not a government official, but as a state leader of a large veterans group, he's got a lot of clout. Helen Cattalini supports the current open door policy. She's Western Australia's Commissioner for Multicultural and Ethnic Affairs, and welcome to both of you. Thank you. Yeah. I use the term open door, but in reality, 1 out of 10 applicants to enter Australia are turned down. Ms. Cattalini, what are the rules? Who gets in and who doesn't?
Well, there are various categories, and some of them you mentioned in your introduction. We do have a refugee program. We bring in people with special skills that we may need from time to time. We bring in members of families so that families can reunite. The whole idea of our immigration policy, the movement has been towards establishing a racial mix in this country.
Race is not a criteria for or against?
No, the idea is that we have a non-discriminatory policy now as far as that is possible, because in actual fact it's very difficult not to discriminate when we look at those categories.
Economically and so forth, it is inherent discrimination. But Mr. Ruxton, would you go back to the days when the immigration policy was, by law, whites only?
No, we've never said that. We don't. We've never said the phrase white Australia policy. But I'll tell you what is worrying my organisation, and I believe the vast majority of Australians, and I'm talking about 85%, believe that immigration at present is coming from the wrong quarter as far as numbers are concerned. Last year, over 65% of our migrants came from Asia, and Vietnam supplied the most migrants. Well, as far as we're concerned, it's not on. And my organisation states that it must be predominantly European. And
why are you not ethnicity blind?
Well, let's take the black South African question. These people would come here. They culturally wouldn't fit into our society. There's going to be trouble later on with younger people, maybe the white people causing the problem. Look, we're adamant about it won't work. And the other thing, of course, is, and I haven't got the description yet of a South African black refugee. Is it a person escaping the law after putting a rubber necklace around a person's neck and lighting that person up? You know, they haven't defined what a refugee is from South Africa.
I think that Mr. Ruxton is incorrect when he says 85% of the people agree with him. I mean, he's basing his statement on a radio poll. Now, those sorts of polls are completely unreliable. I believe that most Australians believe in very much a fair go. Australians are a very tolerant people.
What if not 85%? What if it was a majority that agreed with Mr. Ruxton? Would Australia?
I think the policy that Australia has been pursuing is, in the last few years, will continue, because we're seeing that people, in fact, do get on. There is a tolerance in Australia.
Australia needs trading partners, among other things. Do you hesitate to speak as you do for an international audience? Obviously
I certainly don't. I spoke to the South African audience the other day on the satellite. But look, you have a lottery in New York. I wish I was as sure of winning that lottery next Saturday as I am of what the mainstream of Australians think about our current immigration policy.
Well, this kind of debate has been a hot controversy even here in Australia, obviously, and we've only heard just a bit of it. Thank you both for being with us this morning on Today. This is Today, live from Fremantle on NBC.
For a delicious meal, you just can't find a better place than the Choice All-You-Care-to-Eat Smorgasbord. A bountiful soup and salad bar, large variety of entrees, open flame broiler with barbecued ribs, evenings and Sundays, there's even shish kebabs and royal roast baron of beef. Now the Choice introduces for lunch and dinner, or